Okay, we're gonna do a dry assembly of the fuel rail and see how it fits, because there's a few different ways I may want to mount it, but here is the photo from ZCARDEPOT, how they want you to do it with this kit, and it does come with the fittings. Although this fitting, the barb looks a little bit different, but it's okay. It's got a black O-ring on it, goes in the bottom here. This is called out. Alright. And I'm not going to crank it down yet because this is just a dry run. Then there's two inlets on either side. So one side, which way did I want to go here? Yeah, I want to go opposite of what they're showing. In fact, just a second here, I got to take loose this back plate because we're not mounting it on the firewall or anything. We're just, you know, if we did, we'd have to run some hose, and that means we'd have to make some hose. So we're going to try and mount this directly, as it's shown there in that photo, directly to the fuel rail. The biggest concern here, it's not a big concern, is I want to run, it's got a port here. They don't tell you that you can put a fuel pressure gauge here, but I think you can, and that's what I was going to do. So that's why I may want to make mine look, oh, that is the way they're doing it. Oh, well then I want to go this way. Okay, yeah. Away from the valve cover, because otherwise I think the gauge will hit the valve cover. But I may run into another problem here where the valve, where the gauge may hit the throttle mechanism. So I'm not sure yet. Well, we're going to have to, that's why I'm doing a dry run here. Anyway, like I said, so since I'm going to go this way, and the vacuum port here is going out that way, that means, and this way goes towards the firewall. So we're going to plug this. So return. So we need to also add one of these. Yes. Okay. O-ring faces towards the regulator. Okay. Just hand tighten for now. Then it's got this coupler here. Mine is not blue, it's black, but okay. Screw that on. Done. Now, here's what comes next. This is going to go here to the regulator, and this is going to go into our fuel rail. Now, we're probably, well, I don't know why I'm saying me. I'm probably going to use some Permatex sealant, thread sealant on this, on the threads going into the fuel rail here, okay? And the same thing goes for this thread here going, this is where the fuel comes in on the 5/16 barb here. It's coming from the fuel filter. So fuel's coming in here, going into our rail. Alright. And the reason why we got to use some kind of sealant, I advise against using Teflon tape. It's not meant for gasoline. So anyway, we're going to use this thread sealant, not just any thread sealant, but this thread sealant. And we're going to apply it to those threads. These are pipe threads going into the fuel rail, and this is pipe thread going into the fuel rail. And then finally, we're going to attach our fuel regulator. Okay? I'm not going to screw it on just yet, but that's how that'll go on there. So what I want to do before I screw this on here is to actually mount the this adapter O-ring for O-ring fuel injectors. I'm going to install that, put the injectors on there, and then mount the fuel rail over the injectors. So we're just going to do it one step at a time, and we may have to backtrack here because it may not turn out the way I'm hoping it'll turn out here. It all depends on, you know, am I going to have enough room to do this? I can kind of like look at it first, just to think where it might line up. Oh, and what did I leave here? Oh yeah, the hoses. Still upset about ZCARDEPOT not telling you that you need a silicone hose, that they don't include it, and you're definitely going to need it. So let me look at this. See, if the fuel rail is going right here, I'm looking at it right now, and the wow, let me see here. Okay, right there. All right. Wow, they said there'd be room, but I can see now this is in the way here, for sure. So I got to be careful there. And I got to worry about the hood and this. Wow, there's a lot of things this thing can bump into here. And that's right next to the thermostat. GG. Okay, well, that's why we got to do a test drive here first. Wow. Yeah, I'm worried about the fuel rail. What if I go the other way, like that then? Like they want me to. Can I do it? Once again. Let's see here. Yeah, that might fit. Okay, so it does look like we have to go the way that they recommend here, because of this the mechanism there for the throttle. I can see that is going to interfere. So that's why we're doing a dry run before we put any kind of thread sealant or anything on here, because you just don't know what's going to happen. So anyway, I'm going to reverse these fittings here. And I better take one more look to make sure I got, you know, some room for the return fuel line here. You know, they show the picture, it makes it look like it's going straight down. I don't think you can go straight down with this. So let me do this again. Screw this on here. Okay. There's that, and now the plug is over here. Fuel return is going back that way, so. Okay. This is a temporary mounting of the new fuel rail with the the adjustable regulator mounted to the fuel rail. And this is the only way it's going to work. Here's the throttle right here. Here's your hood latch or bracket, whatever. And you can see there just ain't no more room. I mean, there's just enough room to do it. I was hoping to add a external regulator, and not a regulator, I mean a fuel gauge, fuel pressure gauge to the other side of this regulator. It ain't happening. Okay, so I'm gonna get a vacuum to there. Out of the bottom is the return line. We got to get over there, and over here is the inlet. We got to get over to the filter. We're gonna have to kind of get creative with our mounting. Secure it with whatever brackets or clamps we can. The only thing I'll note now, and maybe I'll show you when I finally do the final install, is you've got to use these Phillips bolts here that go into the intake. Okay, 2 of these, and then there's 2 bolts that go in here which are much shorter on either side here, and I don't know if I can get a view of that from the other side here. You know, they don't tell you which bolt goes with which, but yeah, there's the here's one bolt for the bracket here going into the fuel rail. There's the other one right there. Okay, and of course, like I said, right here beside the distributor, I've already capped off the fuel lines so we don't get any leaks or smell. But here's where our fuel is going to come from, and right here is our return line. So somehow, and that's the part I don't like, I got to figure out how to route fuel lines but stay away from the spark plugs and the distributor as well, because it looks like it's got to go by the distributor no matter what. In fact, I should mount that right now just to see what that's going to look like. But, yeah. You know, spark and fuel, that's okay inside the engine, not outside. So, see, so you got to, before you start this engine, you have to pressurize it and make sure you don't have any leaks, because if you do, you'll have fuel spilling out right here, bad, or fuel spilling out over here. So avoid trying to run any fuel line, you know, on those spark plug wires. It's not going to be healthy. All right, so I see what I had to see. So I will begin the process of installing this rail. I'm going to take it out again, do the thread sealant on the pipe thread fittings, and tighten everything else down. And this is basically how it's going to look, just like this, all the way up to there. This is how we're going to have to do it. It'll work. It'll be tight, but it'll work. So that concludes our video for now, and our next step will be to actually get the rail mounted on here with the injectors, and I'll try to do a video on that one. Hopefully it means something.